It's time for Lefties Losing It. And you know, we've heard the ladies of The View say some crazy, catastrophically dumb stuff over the years. They're a rich source of material for this segment, but this week they've really hit a new low. Listen to this derangement. Here, Whoopi Goldberg claims that Americans can't be critical of Iran's gross human rights abuses because life is just as bad for Americans in America if they're different, if they're gay or black.
And it's slow.
But let's just remember, too, the Iranians literally throw gay people off of buildings. They don't adhere to basic human rights.
Listen, here's the thing. Let's not do that, because if we start with that, we have been known in this country to tie gay folks to the car.
But where the Iranian regime is today in 2025 is nothing compared to the United States.
Hanging black people. So
it is not even the same. I couldn't step foot during this.
Wait. That's not what you mean to say. It is the same.
No, it's not. The year 2025 in the United States is nothing like if I step foot wearing this outfit in Toronto.
Listen, I'm sorry.
I can't have my hair showing. I can't wear a skirt. I can't have my arms out.
I'm telling you,
I literally said it was up to the Iranian people.
Yes, it is up to them. And that's why I am saying that it is the same. Murdering someone for their difference is not good, whoever does it. It's not good. So that's why I said you weren't saying what I heard was not what you meant.
I think it's very different to live in the United States in 2025 than it is to live in Iran.
Not if you're black.
Not for everybody.
Not if you're black.
I mean, where do you even start? Is she really likening crime happening in America to the Iranian regime, the government killing gay people, killing infidels, beating and locking up women for showing their hair? Can she possibly be that stupid, or is she just a massive liar? Because right now, there are no other options.
Nobody wants to diminish the very real problems we have in this country. That is no one's intent. But I think it's important we remember there are places much darker than this country and people who deserve rights.
Not everybody feels that way. Not everybody feels that way. Listen, I'm sorry. You know, when you think about the fact that we got the vote in 1965.
Okay, they don't have free and fair elections in Iran. It's not even the same universe.
They can't go out of their house. The women.
You know what? There's no way I can make you understand.
No words are not your friends, Whoopi. Neither is logic and facts. Perhaps white saviour, the awful, affluent white female lefty Joy Behar can explain it for you.
Try to reverse roles with a black person in this country, let's say, because I think that's what you're talking about.
Yes.
Just try to understand from their point of view. From that point of view, this country does not do them well, does not go for them.
I completely acknowledge that, but
and we shouldn't compare atrocities.
If you're talking about Iran, of course, is doing worse things, but relatively speaking, it feels bad.
Relatively speaking, are these women insane? You heard Sunny there say we shouldn't compare atrocities. What, like someone not respecting your pronouns compared to being hung in the public square for crimes like adultery, homosexuality and blasphemy? Really? And The View has had a terrible week because they had Hollywood star and former California Governor Arnold Schwarzenegger on, and he being a bit of a TDS sufferer, they expected him to rail against Trump's deportation program. He didn't, and they weren't happy.
You are an immigrant. You're an immigrant in this country. Yeah. Did you have a visceral reaction to what they're doing, what ICE is doing, when you see the videos of it?
Well, I tell you, you said that the immigrant, I'm so proud and happy that I was impressed by the American people like that. I mean, imagine they came over here with the age of 21, with absolutely nothing. And then to create a career like that.
Oh no, he's not answering as they expect. Maybe he'll eventually bag the country, bag the deportation program. But no, Arnie wants immigrants to behave legally.
But the key thing also is at the same time that we got to do things legal. That is the important thing, you know. So you got to do things legal. And those people that are doing illegal things in America and that are foreigners, they are not smart. Because when you come to America, you're a guest. And you have to behave like a guest. and to make my bed and to do everything that is the right thing to do rather than committing a crime or being abusive or something like that. So that doesn't really work in this country.
Did you see Sonny's hand just reach out and touch his arm there, trying to curb his stream of consciousness? No, Arnie, you are supposed to say nobody is illegal. There's nothing wrong with breaking the law to enter the country or breaking the law while in the country. Now, let's check in with an Ivy League graduate. Here is one from Columbia, decked out in a keffiyeh, naturally. And what a useful degree he's acquired.
Today I'm graduating with a degree in comparative literature and society. The comparative literature department at Columbia is cool because it asks you to choose a couple languages and build this sort of hodgepodge degree of your interests.
What kind of job can you get in this field?
People go to med school, people go to law school, a lot of people go to any amount of graduate school, and then I feel like a lot of people also end up in corporate spaces as well.
And sadly, that's the problem. These brainwashed activists end up in the corporate world and do great damage while they're often in HR or corporate affairs departments. Now, good news, some new pronouns have just dropped, you know, they, them, ZZ. So 2024. Now the crazy narcissistic kids are identifying with newer pronouns like pup and puppy.
Pup, puppy. But why might someone want to use pup, puppy as pronouns? Well, this person can have a strong connection to puppies and identify with some of their qualities, like loyalty, energy, or softness. It could also be a way to express a non-human identity. Some people feel that being human doesn't fully describe who they are, so they identify as non-human. So using pronouns like pup, puppy can help a person describe that feeling. And please remember that this is a person's experience, and just because you don't know or you can't relate to this person's experience doesn't mean that it's wrong, doesn't mean that it's bad, and it does not mean that you have the right to bully that person.
But you can mock them because it's fun, and frankly, it's a little bit necessary. You see, affirming madness, affirming delusion isn't being kind, it's being weak and part of the problem. But for those of you who want to respect neopronouns like pup and puppy, this is how you do it.
No one's trying to hurt you by using these pronouns. No one's trying to harm you by using these pronouns. Someone's just trying to live their own life. So you live your own life and you let them live their own life, okay? Pup doesn't owe anyone an explanation. Pup gets to define puppy self or not. People keep asking, but Pup made it clear. What Pup is isn't up for discussion.
I've said it before and I'll say it again. Donald Trump is the funniest president we've ever had and will ever have. No other leader could turn a flag-raising ceremony into a comedy skit.
So somewhere you have that. Anyway, let's have a good, they call it a lifting. They also use another word, but I'm not going to use that word. You know what that is? The word, it starts with an E. You know what the word is? If I ever used it, I'd be run out of town by you people. All right, so enjoy it.
And President Trump hosted Juventus at the White House, and the issue of men in women's sport came about, and the team squibbed it.
Men playing in women's sports, you know, who's never heard that? Have you ever had women? Could a woman make your team, fellas? Tell me. You think? You're being nice. What do you think? Think a woman could make the team? General managers, what do you think?
Difficult.
Don't say it.
We have a very good women's team, though.
You do have, right? Yeah. But they should be playing with women, right?
Joining me now is commentator and author of The Children We Left Behind, Adam B. Coleman. Adam, we'll get to the more substantive issues shortly, but how disappointing that those stars, soccer stars, couldn't just say what they thought, couldn't say the obvious, that men don't belong in women's sport.
I mean, it's mildly disappointing, but it doesn't shock me that they didn't have much to say. Professional athletes are often trained to deal with the media, and they're often told to take like the easiest position, the most non-political statement, very vague statements about how they feel about any given topic, and usually to keep their comments relating to their profession. So it really doesn't shock me. Is it disappointing? Yeah, but at the same time, they're not necessarily activists stating something that is obvious. I think everybody's face expressed how they felt was that, well, yes, women shouldn't be playing alongside them. There is a competitive advantage that men have over women, but they're just not going to vocalize it. So clearly, no one objected to it. They just tried to deflect.
They did. I think Trump was very nice in saying they were being diplomatic, but this is a 90-10 issue. You should be able to say something that's not particularly controversial to say. Men don't belong in women's sport. Now, Adam, this is astonishing. Nearly 70,000 individuals have signed up for a new US residency program called the Trump Card, which requires a $5 million investment to gain legal residency. So instead of a green card, this is called a gold card. That's a lot of money right there, 5 million times 70,000, and it's not even been implemented yet, and you've got that many applications.
Yeah, and actually they want a much higher goal. They're looking at potentially very quickly, once it becomes available, having 100,000 available. Trump has stated that he wants 1 million. Wow. Right? He's trying to raise upwards of $5 trillion to go towards the deficit. That $5 trillion is nothing to, shy away from. But at the same time, our deficit is upwards close to $40 trillion. So it's to chip away at the problem. But there are a lot of questions as far as, will this be economically sound? Are there any sort of repercussions? Are we just attracting one particular class of individual to come in, assuming that they're going to stimulate the economy, rather than just find a place for them to lay their head? There are a lot of questions surrounding it, but it is, to be fair, replacing the EB-5 visa program, which has a lower threshold, but it does have a job creation requirement.
Well, I mean, if you're investing $5 million just to enter the country, that's probably going to create a few jobs. I mean, it's hard to invest that kind of money without some sort of economic activity and job creation. Now, I want to ask you about some footage that I played a little bit earlier of the View program, where Whoopi Goldberg argued that blacks in America have it as bad as the people of Iran. Now, I was astonished by this position, but I'm interested in your response. Is this a widely held view in the black community as far as you know?
Yeah, I was equally astonished. It is very ignorant to state that it's equal in treatment, especially if you're talking about modern day, which is very interesting in the conversation that she was having. Quickly, she ran to 1965, when we're talking about modern day Iran versus modern day America. The problem that I see is that wealthy, elite blacks tend to have very little issues, so they hold on to a collective oppression, right? This perceived oppression. Meanwhile, they always avoid how comfortable their life is. Whoopi Goldberg is a multimillionaire. I would be willing to bet that she lives a very luxurious life, and she's around people who look like her and don't look like her on a consistent basis. And the amount of oppression that she deals with is incredibly minimal in today's standards, right? I can't speak for how her life was in the 80s or in the 70s, when she was very young. But today, it's very comfortable. And she has to go to some sort of group oppression because her life is lacking that oppression. So much of this is honestly just pathetic. It's very sad to see someone who is so privileged. She should be the success story, but she has to feel some sort of compulsion to adhere to a group narrative that doesn't fit her life.
Adam Baker-Holman, thank you so much for your time tonight.